Hello, my wonderful Geminis. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are doing amazing. In today's video, I will be tapping into the energies of your love life. So it's going to be your general love reading for the week here. So pretty much whatever comes out for you guys. Okay, guys, so the card that flipped out here is sunglasses. Watching, looking, perception, stalking. Okay. That card is kind of giving me the energy of the Page of Swords in tarot. You know, someone who's possibly keeping tabs on you or very curious about you, but they don't have much access to you. There could also be a lack of clarity, you know, in this situation, because when I look at that image, it's almost like it's giving me the energy of possibly someone seeing things from a very different lens than maybe how you're perceiving things. Like maybe their reality of the situation is very different in comparison to yours. Okay. Let's see. Nine of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck and the Devil. Someone's viewing you as single, independent, stable, very beautiful, but it's also stressing them out with the Devil card. It almost seems to me that you could be, you know, involved with someone who feels like they no longer have access to you, but they are no longer, like, almost in a way, they're no longer your responsibility. Like you're not concerned about them, or your decisions aren't made while taking their emotions into consideration, because they're viewing you as just being focused on yourself and independent. So it could be a situation that you've detached from, but this person is very focused on you. And as much as they're, you know, viewing you in this beautiful and bold energy, a part of them feels very stressed out. You could be dealing with a Capricorn. Okay, let's see. How are you being viewed this week? You know what I'm intuitively picking up on, Gemini? Like someone knows they were unable to give you what you were deserving of, but they're afraid that you're going to find it elsewhere. A bit of a heavy energy coming through here, guys. The Fool card, viewing you as someone who's having a new start elsewhere, or someone who's just moving forward. Like you're turning over a new leaf, or you're not as invested in a situation, or you're no longer worried about working something out. This person could also feel like what's visible to them is this new version of Gemini. I'm not used to this version of Gemini. The past Gemini no longer exists. Like there's some sort of a change or something that is occurring for you that is visible to this person, but they also feel you've changed as an individual. The Star card, Five of Swords, in the challenge position. I mean, this is someone who views you as very special. They feel like the connection that they share with you is extremely rare, even to the point where they could be comparing it to other connections that they've experienced or even are currently experiencing. But with the Five of Swords, there's a lot of mental conflict. You know, there's an energy of, yes, I feel connected to Gemini. Yes, I still feel like Gemini is someone who is very special to me. But when it comes to expressing that to you, there's some sort of hurt or frustration that they're holding on to that is outweighing their desire to express how they feel or express the fact that they haven't moved on. It almost seems to me they want you to view them as doing okay or doing well, but behind that facade is, I can't stop thinking about you. You know, I can't stop thinking about the fact that you're now free to make whatever decisions that you want, or you're able to do whatever you want, and I'm not part of the picture anymore. The Star card could also be an energy of like holding on to some sort of hope. Some of you are dealing with an Aquarius, but For others of you, it really just is an energy of holding on to some sort of hope, but also feeling very conflicted. It's like they're upset with you, but they miss you more than they're upset with you. I think that's a better way of me that's a better way of me, kind of boiling down this energy. Like, I'm frustrated. I'm upset that, with Gemini, or things didn't work out between the both of us, but I miss them. I miss them so much. And I wonder what they're doing. I wonder what they're up to. And I don't play such a large role in Gemini's life anymore. And that stresses me out. That's pretty much what's going on in their feelings. Okay. How are you viewing them? Knight of Cups. You could feel like this is someone who's charming, someone who's very good with their words, and you may have something on your mind that you want to express to this person. But something about this connection could feel very inconsistent to you, Gemini, where it's like, okay, this person could be someone who's very, charming. They know the right things to say, but they're not necessarily able to follow through on the things that they say. Some of you may feel like this person owes you an apology, and I don't mean that in an entitled way, but I mean it in a way where you could have felt you could feel very misunderstood, or you feel like this person wasn't really necessarily taking your emotions into consideration here. My apologies if you guys hear my stomach growling. I'm going to have lunch after this reading. But let's see what's going on with in your feelings. Two of Wands, King of Swords. I think you feel safer keeping some sort of distance with this person. I think that's what feels right for you this week with the King of Swords. You're being very honest with yourself, right? The King of Swords is when you're feeling clear-minded about a situation. You feel like you know exactly what's going on. Even if you felt like there was confusion in the past, that's something that could be cleared up for you this week. But with the Two of Wands, I'm strongly getting that, like, there's distance between the both of you, but you feel like that's how it should be in the current moment. Some of you may feel like it's not really your job to find a solution. Two of Wands could be, I'm going to wait to see if this person is going to take initiative, especially if you feel like you are the one who is kind of like the glue in this relationship, or you would constantly work towards, solutions and being the bigger person. Maybe you're like, okay, now that things are over, now that I've made something very clear, are you finally going to step up to the plate? Are you going to do something to, at least communicate with me? Or are you just going to let things be and, remain in your mind like you usually are? I think that's what's going on in your feelings. King of Wands and the Ten of Pentacles. This may be someone that you were in a higher level of commitment with. You could still feel connected to this person, or there's something that is kind of like creating a tie between the both of you. Like, there could be shared assets, or there could be something that you feel like is still lingering when it comes to the connection between the both of you. But as much as you may feel that way, or still feel a bit, connected to this person, there's something about reclaiming your power, knowing who you are, wanting to move towards a situation that feels, stable to you. Some of you are really at a point where you're like, I just want to invest my time and energy into things that are stable. I don't want to be involved in connections that are inconsistent, or connections that have me, questioning things. There's something that's almost like being renewed when it comes to what you're passionate about, or what you're looking for in relationships. Like, you could feel like this connection was a catalyst for your growth, or something changed within you in terms of, maybe this is what maybe what I was looking for when I was connecting with this person was very different from what I want in the now. The Two of Swords clarifying the Star card, and the Page of Wands clarifying the Five of Swords. I mean, I definitely feel like this is someone who wants to communicate with you, but they're also in a state of denial. They're not seeing something clearly, and the Two of Swords and the Five of Swords could also be an energy of something that is presented to them, right? Something that is right in front of them that causes a lot of conflict, but they don't want to accept it, or they don't want to think about it. And it's a bit of a contradicting energy, because I do sense that there's a level of frustration, and there's an energy of this person, being upset, but there's also an energy of, I miss you and I want to communicate with you. So they could feel like they're in between worlds. It almost seems to me when they think about reaching out or when they think about communicating with you, they remind themselves of something that upsets them, or they remind themselves of something that is just that hasn't worked out between the both of you in the past. And then it causes them to remain held back or not follow through with the plan that they had in mind of, reaching out to you or communicating here. Really, what this boils down to in the challenge position is someone who is battling within their own emotions. There's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of extremes that they're feeling this week. There's a lot of, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Am I seeing things clearly? But they're not showing this on the outside. And with the Page of Wands and how they're viewing you, with the Fool card, it's like if you're moving on, or there's something new that's occurring for you that's visible to them, in a way they're trying to match that energy or mirror that back to you. So now there's a question of, am I more focused on mirroring Gemini's energy or acting as if everything's okay? Or am I upset or sad enough to actually just reach out and be honest? That's what's going on here. Page of Wands clarifying the Five of Swords could also be regret for how they've communicated with you in the past. It could be responding to something in a very immature way or doing something impulsively, where it's like, whether it's saying something very mean or calling you out your name or doing something because they felt like doing it impulsively and then later regretting it, feeling like I wish I could take that back. I'm specifically getting that they feel they communicated with you in a very unfair manner. In their feelings, Ten of Swords. So this person is carrying a lot more pain than they're showing. The World card, feeling like they have to let go of a cycle, feeling like there's nothing I can do to change this, whether that's the reality of it or it's what they're thinking about mentally and what they're feeding into mentally with the Two of Swords, Five of Swords, and Ten of Swords. After some sort of an ending in this connection, whether it's you or this person, there definitely someone here could have physically relocated as well with the World card. The Lovers and the Four of Pentacles, someone who feels connected to you, someone who can't stop thinking about you, but they're trying to withdraw from this connection. Four of Pentacles is remaining in a very held back energy. On the outside, it may appear that they're doing fine or moving forward. On the inside, they feel some sort of a void. There's a very, very empty feeling that they're trying to fill. They're viewing the connection with you as some sort of a huge loss, not just emotionally, but this could have impacted them in other areas of their life as well. Especially if you guys have like shared assets or you guys have built something together. And the Lover's really like, I'm getting a pretty heavy energy of someone who feels like they're not sure if they're going to connect with anyone the way that they've connected with you. They're not sure if they're going to experience a connection or a love like this again. That is something that they're questioning. Are they showing you this or communicating this to you? No. But this is what's going on in their feelings. The Queen of Pentacles. Your efforts, the way you've cared for this person, the way you've, what you've tolerated, how patient you were, that's all resurfacing for them this week. That's something that they're taking into account. And I'm strongly getting someone who still feels a commitment to you, or they feel like you are someone that's always going to be on their mind. This connection is something that they're always going to compare to other connections. Like, I'm strongly getting that. The High Priestess, followed by the Eight of Wands and the potential outcome. So again, this is someone who's silent with you but really wants to communicate. What's the High Priestess? The Knight of Pentacles, Eight of Wands, the Ten of Wands. Communicating with you or opening up a conversation seems very draining for this person, or they feel like it's going to lead to having to do more to prove themselves where they know it's not going to be a walk in the park. Like, the Ten of Wands could be an energy of looking at what you have to do and feeling like it's just way too much, or I'm not going to be able to make it through, or I'm not going to be able to execute it correctly. But specifically when it comes to communicating with you, there's like a very, I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could, communicate because then this is going to be brought up or that's going to be brought up. There's like a very heavy energy associated with the conversation that they want to have. Queen of Wands. It's like this person wants to communicate with you, but they feel like your response is going to be stemming from a space of putting yourself first, whereas in the past it may have been taking this person's emotions into consideration. So in no way am I saying that, you're going to be mean to this person or you're going to be brutal, but they definitely feel like you're not in a position to sympathize with them. And I think that instills some sort of fear with them, or it makes them feel like, Gemini is not going to receive what I want to tell them, in a manner that I want them to receive it in. Or Gemini is now in a position of putting themselves first and caring for themselves. And, even if you do communicate with this person, it could be like one word responses, or it could be it's very clear to this person that you're not as invested, is pretty much what I'm getting at. And I'm specifically getting they feel you're going to put yourself first, and your response may not be a response where you're taking their emotions into consideration. So, said all that to say, they may feel communicating with you or starting a conversation is only going to cause them more hurt or make the situation worse than it currently is. Okay, let's see. Is there anything they want to communicate to my Gemini? I know I messed up everything. There's a lot of guilt that this person carries. That's the Ten of Wands there, the Ten of Swords in their feelings. And it could even be, this is what I want, but I don't feel deserving of it. Anything else they want to communicate? I left you before you could leave me. So this person could have ended this connection feeling like, you were going to leave them anyways, or it was going to end anyways. My life is not as together as it seems. And I mentioned this multiple times throughout the spread. They're not doing okay. They're very upset or frustrated, but they're not showing you that on the outside. We both know I am not the one for you. So very heavy energy here. I think this is someone who's feeding into their pessimistic thoughts this week. They're being very hard on themselves. But it does stem from a space of feeling like they messed things up, or there's some sort of guilt that they feel when it comes to the current dynamic. Like they're starting to understand maybe the role that they played in their own suffering. And my life is not as together as it seems, like I mentioned. What's going on the inside is not what they're showing you on the external. Okay. So that's what I'm getting for you guys this week. I really do hope you were able to find a message that resonated with you here today. And thank you so much for your time.